It's Saturday, it's me, Geordie Pete Redding. It's an absolute miracle we're even live, but that's another story. It's Soccer Saturday in a week of news that never fails to delight. We can reveal that Brooklyn Beckham has his own cooking show. Michael Owen was a traffic cone, and that Colleen Rooney has appointed Little Wayne a chaperone. Welcome to Soccer Saturday. Yeah, it's me, Geordie Pete Redding, and it is your last chance to get your 20% discount off your Manscaped goods. Log on to manscaped.com and use your Hollywood Balls as your code. Get that fella in your family even. It's going to be a right show today. I can just feel it in my water. Get that special fella a gift. Okay, speaking of codes, the Hollywood Balls code is back. That's right, this month we're giving up 45,000 Naira of airtime away. So all you have to do is watch the show, then head back over to our Facebook page of Hollywood Balls Live, facebook.com sporting chat. Pick up the last code from the girls and you will win. Okay. God, I'm tired. I need to lie down already. It's time to meet today's guest. It's a warm welcome back to Liverpool's finest, free-flowing, pen-twirling sports editor, Ali Khaled. And making a Hollywood Balls debut, it's Cambridge's best export since Grantchester and Fitzbillies. It's the fabulous Alex Gray. How are you?
The whole time throughout that, you were speaking in slow-mo. I don't know what's going on with my setup, or is the stream... Is in slow motion.
Okay, so Ali, am I in slow-mo to you?
No, you're fine, mate. You're fine.
Good
to be back on the show.
Ali.
I'll tell you what, Alex. Do you want to log out and come back in, and I'll catch up a little bit of football with Ali?
Did you say log out and log back in again? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have had Ali.
Two
do
seconds.
that. No problem. Ali, we have had a technical nightmare. It all seems to be good in Dubai Marina, though. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all good. I can hear you fine. Yeah, everything's great, and I'm very well, thanks.
Better than Man United, I would say.
Yeah, I actually missed the match yesterday. I woke up to the news, so I don't know what even to make of it. You know, I saw the highlights. Yeah, I can see why some Man United fans are a bit angry with the handball decision.
You sound normal now.
Oh, we sound normal. Welcome back.
I was so freaked out. I was like, what is going on?
Welcome to Hollywood Balls, the Madhouse. Welcome, Alex. I was saying you're Cambridge's most famous export since Fitzbillies, which I believe is a famous coffee shop, and of course Grantchester. So how are you?
I'm great, thanks. I was like I said to you earlier, like I've just got back from Mexico, been out there for 7 months and just acclimatizing back to the UK and all its glory. It's a bit of a shock, I won't lie.
And no puffer jacket, no hat and scarf. You're with us. I thought you might be wrapped up, but it's great to have you. It's great to have you along. We'll catch up about where you've been and what you've been doing. Fantastic. And a little bit of FA Cup history as well, given your team and your background and where you're from. A good afternoon to everyone who's tuned in. Don't forget, watch the show. And after the show, head over to the Facebook page because we are giving away 45,000 Naira this month for your airtime, courtesy of me, Geordie Pete Redding, and Hollywood Balls. Ali, we were talking Man United. Ronaldo missed a penalty. They got beat on penalties. Middlesbrough had 9,000 fans that went into raptures. You can say what you like, really, but it's just another result in a catalogue of disasters for Man United in the last few months.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's, realistically their last chance of any trophy success this year. I mean, obviously they're still in the Champions League, but I don't think many people expect them to win that. So, yeah, like I said, I actually missed the match. Watched the highlights today. You know, they can complain about that equalizer. It was a handball, I think. Yeah, clear handball. The rules, like stated that it was accidental. So that's by the law. I guess it was given. But really, Manchester United at home against Middlesbrough shouldn't be relying on these decisions. You know, I think Bruno Fernandes had an open goal which he missed, and you know, you'd expect Manchester United going into extra time as well to win this match and not need, you know, like, you know, marginal decisions to go their way. So yeah, and you know, you know, I feel bad for Elanga, who missed the penalty. Of course, you know, we've already heard
Only young, isn't he?
Yeah, he's quite young, and you know, already there's been some news about him receiving abuse online, which is, you know,
Amazing.
hardly surprising these days. But yeah, another bad day for Manchester United, really. And you know, you could see that absolutely their last chance of winning a trophy this season is gone now.
Has gone. Okay, Alex, let's get this out of the way because you are from Cambridge. The reason that Newcastle aren't in the FA Cup this weekend is down to your amazing hometown team, who fully deserved their win. So Cambridge they play this weekend. They've got it. I mean, for a smaller club like Cambridge, it's amazing. 5th round they're in. I think I've taken them in the predictions, so we'll see a bit later on. But just great for a city, isn't it, to have, if they have a small team like Cambridge, for something to look forward to.
Yeah, it's actually funny. When I found out that they beat Newcastle, I actually couldn't believe it because it's been a long running joke my whole life how terrible Cambridge are. And I remember my half. But now it's all changed. But my half brother, we always used to make fun of him because he was like an avid supporter of Cambridge, and like he would go to watch all the matches and stuff. And I think my dad supports Manchester. I'm not entirely sure. He's more of a rugby man, you see.
Okay.
But now, you know, beating Newcastle, it could all be playing in their favour now. We could be going into the Premier League. This could be happening.
Could be on a run. Could be on a run, a glory run. Listen, I mean, how did you know, when I've read about you and researched you before you came on today's show, it's a fascinating journey that you've had, and quite there's several journeys which we'll touch on. But how did you drop into TV and acting? Because I would guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, that education may have came first because you've also got a first in psychology.
Yes. Yes. So when I was at school, I loved acting. That was like my thing.
Okay.
And I did my GCSEs. And like before my GCSEs, I never really actually studied that hard. I just kind of winged it. And I was like, oh, GCSEs actually count for something. So I actually put in a bit of effort and I got some really good grades. And my teachers were like, oh, hold up. This could be a potential Oxbridge candidate. So they kind of whisked me into like a more academic route. And that meant leaving the drama and the theatrics behind.
Okay.
But obviously it was kind of still my passion to perform and I love all that kind of thing. And then went to university, studied psychology. I wasn't allowed to go to drama school. And when I came out of uni, I was like, well, I don't really want to do anything corporate. I did try a corporate job for 7 months, sucked my soul, sucked it right out of my body. I quit. And then, but throughout the whole of that time, when I was working that corporate job, when I just got out of uni, I was just, well, someone told me, they said, look, Alex, if you want to be a presenter, if you want to be an actress, whatever, you go and tell everyone that you meet that that's what you do. So that's what I did. I started with the presenting because I thought, I can't do acting anymore. It's been too long. And everyone I met, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a presenter. And before I knew it, I was getting jobs, but it was a lot of like unpaid work, obviously at first, because no one's going to hire you if you've got nothing to show for yourself. And it got to the point 7 months in my corporate job where I was like, well, I have enough of a show reel now to actually get some good enough paying jobs, quit and just took the plunge. So that's how I did it.
And it's quite a show reel as well, which we'll touch on in a bit. Ali, back to the footy, because there's your team, Liverpool, and the African Nations Cup. You've got two of your heroes going head to head, haven't you, in the final? So it's going to be quite the game. Yeah,
I mean, tomorrow night, Senegal against Egypt. The tournament itself has, started off very slowly, but it's gotten better, over
slow burner.
Yeah, it was a slow burner, and but it's gotten more exciting, in the later stages of the group stages and in the knockout stages. But Egypt have not really played that well. They've actually, been obviously had great spirit, and they've reached the final. Every single match in the knockout stage has gone to extra time. 2 of them they've won on penalties. They have an incredible team spirit, and they've defended well. They hardly ever concede, but they don't score much as well. So they haven't really been that exciting to watch. So I think a lot of people might want, maybe some neutrals would prefer Senegal, who have scored a lot more goals and been a lot more attacking, shall we say. But I think for Liverpool fans, it's quite exciting. I'm not sure what Jurgen Klopp thinks, but they've got Mane and Salah going up, both captains of their teams, and as Klopp said, one of them is going to be ecstatic, and one of them is going to be pretty down when they return to the club. But it's great for Liverpool fans, and I think it's added a little bit of like a spice to the final. But we're expecting a great match tomorrow night.
Have you got a favourite yourself? Have you got a sneaky feeling for one of either of them?
Not really. I mean, Senegal are the slight favourites here, but Egypt have just defended so well, and so they base their game on frustrating opponents, and then hitting them on the break, or even take it all the way to penalties. If I had to pick, I'd probably still go slightly Senegal, but I think it's pretty 50-50.
So you're going to sit on the fence, as all good journalists should do. Ali mentioned before about social media and the good and bad of it, obviously, which we're all subjected to. I wanted to ask you, come on, clear this up for me, because I've tried to read it a couple of times and I can't get my head around it. What the heck was going on with Love Island and you?
So I wasn't on Love Island. Let's just get that.
No, let's get that straight. Let's put that to bed straight away.
On Love Island. I was cast as a fake Love Islander. I was acting in an app. It was an app that Love Island had collaborated with another company called Unread to produce this like fake Love Island, right? And they published it at the same time that the actual TV show was going out. And my character name was Jessie. And I think what you're referring to is the fact that some random girl from Bradford, I think, had pretended to be my character, Jessie, and claimed that my character, Jessie, was one of the girls in Casa Amor. And that all got leaked out. And this whole like storm, this like viral storm on social media kind of started, and people were tagging me and sending me things, and I was like, that's me. Like, what? And
so had she not realized that she tagged a character of a real person? Did she think that character was a real person?
I don't know what she thought.
Yeah, this is where it gets confusing to me.
I don't know. I didn't really have much interaction with her. I think I messaged her being like, yo, can you at least like tag me so that I can get some traction from this, because it was these videos were getting millions of views and the posts were getting shared on all the meme pages and stuff, and I was like, come on, I that was a lot of hard work, that app that we produced. Like it actually was like it was a very intense
did it do your following numbers good? Did it boost your following? Did it boost your following?
On TikTok, I think I gained about 11,000 from that.
As you do.
Yeah.
Ali, that's a regular evening's following for you, isn't it, Ali, on your TikTok?
No, I wish. Or any of my platforms.
Brilliant stuff. Quite the story though. So basically, the app was meant to go. It was meant to go in tandem with the show, and it was something used to promote the show. And so everyone was getting, right, okay, now it's clear. Now we can go on.
So she'd taken a snippet from the trailer before the app was released.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. Seems like forever ago now, but yeah.
It was a real head scratcher. And I was like, being the Geordie I am, I was thinking, right, we're going to have to get this ironed out for my own peace of mind as well. Ali, speaking of mix-ups and communication, I wanted to touch on Tottenham, because Conte is again in the press this morning, and he's sort of talking about, how it wasn't a great transfer window for Spurs, and that, down the line, he still wants to change that team. Reading between the lines, it sounds like that already he's a little unhappy with what he's allowed to do with players in the transfer market, because he's got Dele Alli who's gone out, but they haven't really brought anyone in of note apart from the two Juve guys.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the danger here with Conte for Tottenham is that he's not even when things go well, he's not someone who sticks around clubs for too long. I mean, at Chelsea, it was 2 seasons, if I remember correctly. So 2 seasons at Chelsea, he tends to come in, do a job, and decide to leave. So, I don't think he's someone who, would have an issue if things were not to go well to walk away, especially if he feels like he's not being backed. I think he's got this the personality and the temperament to walk away. I think sometimes in English football, in the Premier League, they think, it's the be all and end all of all football that, managers will be like so grateful to be, and I suppose most of them are, but Conte will be the type who would walk away if he doesn't think he's being supported properly, and he won't be short on jobs. In Manchester United, we're looking at him, and obviously in Italy, he probably will have the pick of any job that he wants that's available. So not comfortable times for Tottenham, I think.
All is not well on Seven Sisters Road. Spurs fans, let us know. Drop us a message. Tell us what you think. We keep saying Spurs, they've got the best stadium in the world. They've got Harry Kane. They've got one of the best managers in the world. It's still not working. Just shows you everything isn't perfect. Going back to that show reel of yours, Alex, because you have been involved in the footy. So give us a little bit of what it was like to work Goal.com and Champions League, because that must have been epic.
It was epic. I had no idea what I was doing, though. Let's just put it that way. So when I quit my corporate job, that was actually one of the first proper jobs that I got. I don't know how I landed it, but I did. And so I had an agent at the time who called me up and was like, Alex, I've got this job with Nissan and Goal.com with the UEFA Champions League. And I've pitched you to present it in the fan park. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, and obviously, being new to the game, I was, as in the game of presenting, I was like taking anything that I could. So I said yes. And I get there and I'm in the fan park, and bearing in mind, I didn't really know anything about football. So I'm going to put my hands up and say I was completely the wrong person to be booked for that job. And so it was very spontaneous. Obviously, it was in Ukraine. It was in Kiev, and so I was in the fan park, and it was all fine. I was interviewing the fans, and it was all just kind of like getting the energy up, whatever. Fine. And then all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, Alex, Ruud Gullit is here. We want to go interview him. Are you ready?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, who? what do I ask?"
Amazing.
So there's me on my phone trying to like Google about Ruud Gullit, but then Kiev, my SIM card didn't like have data for Kiev, so nothing was loading. So I managed to get his Wikipedia page up after about 5 minutes of trying, and I just asked like the most like generic questions, and then the same happened. Luis Garcia turned up, and the same happened with him. I was like, oh my god, who is Luis Garcia? I've heard of his name, but I didn't tell you anything about him.
Alex Hero.
But no, apart from that little like debacle, overall, it was a fantastic experience, and it was Liverpool versus Real Madrid, and it was actually my first ever live, like watching a live game, and the energy was just phenomenal. Like the energy from Liverpool supporters, unbelievable. Like they were great. Honestly, they made the match.
Fantastic. Ali, you remember that game?
I do remember it very well, of course, and Liverpool lost. Alex, I tried. I was obviously I live in Dubai, and I was very close to going to that match, trying to get tickets, but the tickets were obviously through regular avenues by applying to UEFA. There's like sort of a lottery, and you either get the tickets or not. That's when you pay face value. I tried to get them through friends or through people who had extra tickets and all that, and they were just so expensive that it was
actually, I remember the flights as well were so difficult. It was like impossible to get flights to and from Kiev. We had to fly through Belarus, I think.
Yeah, and Alex, I'm not sure.
Extortionate amount.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember this as well. I'm not sure if it applied to you, but also, people had booked like tickets sort of like a couple of months in advance, anticipating the final. And then, for maybe like say £100. And then once Liverpool got there and there was so much demand, and obviously Real Madrid as well, hotel rooms, people were, the hotels were canceling the rooms and saying, sorry, you booked it for 100. It's actually 1,000. It's actually 1,000 now.
It happened to us. It happened to the whole production. I'm pretty sure that's what. So we booked a hotel, and then obviously like the hotel owners were like, hang on a second, I could get way more money now. And then we had to find another hotel, and we got pushed out. It was like the outskirts of Kiev. I think it was like a half-hour drive in every day, something ridiculous.
Yeah. I remember that.
But hey, you got to hustle, you can't blame them.
What I find amazing is that you had to hustle. It's something so big like that, if it was, for instance, you were coming into that role, surely they should have maybe said, I mean, at the very least, I'm saying, Ali, you can help me out here, but maybe, have given Alex a match pack or some stats or even sort of pointers of where to go with questions, not just sort of, by the way, here's Ruud Gullit, all the best.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what, Alex, although I didn't get to see you there, but I'm sure, you're being a bit hard on yourself. There are a lot of people who have a lot more experience and they talk nonsense. So I'm sure you're a great.
Yeah, every weekend. You're listening to one of them now.
We make it up. We make it up as we go along. So
professional bullshitters.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, speaking of nonsense, Ali, let's get back to a little bit of football because it's FA Cup weekend, and as always, as we said, we've already had. We all wish for giant killings, whether you're a Newcastle fan or not. And the Cambridge, as I've said before, it was a fantastic game, and they've thoroughly deserved it. There's a couple of standouts today which give opportunities, Ali, and I'm looking at one of the first games, which is Kidderminster West Ham. West Ham won't fancy it. I do fancy West Ham to still win. And the other standout one for me is possibly Crystal Palace and my good friend Adrian Bevington's Hartlepool United, who are in London today. But let's take Kidderminster first. Any real chance for them today, Ali?
I don't think so, Pete, because I mean, you'd like to think that would be one of the ones. Be a fantastic story, but West Ham are playing well. West Ham of 3 or 4 years ago, when they were quite inconsistent. That might have been one to look at. But I think West Ham are pretty solid these days, and if they go with a strong team, which I think they will. I don't think they'll play a weakened team. I still think they're going to win. So I don't see like a shock there. The other one you mentioned, Crystal Palace. I mean, again, maybe if Crystal Palace were away from home, that would be a little bit more on the cards. But I think they'll probably and Vieira's got I think Patrick Vieira's had a pretty solid season, and he'll pick a team strong enough to win that one as well. Unfortunately for those two games, yeah.
Okay, keep your Facebook names coming in. All of them are coming in now. Don't forget at the end of the show, head over to the Facebook page, and there will be a spin the wheel. And some of you think it's 5 or 10 lucky listeners will get the first week's prize for the Naira. Alex, you've got a penchant for magic. How did that come about? And some of your tricks are awesome, by the way.
Thank you. I can't take credit for that. It's all my boyfriend. How did I get into magic? I wouldn't say I'm really into magic. I do a few tricks here and there. I can read your mind, obviously, because I did psychology. But
yeah. So
my friend, it's a little bit of a long story. But my friend from London was Julius Dean, who was a magician, a social media famous magician. He made his name traveling the world and producing like magic compilations. Anyway, he ended up during lockdown in Mexico, in Playa del Carmen, which is near Cancun and Tulum. And I ended up, when I went to Playa del Carmen back in June, I went to Mexico for 2 weeks so that I could then go to the States because I had a job. So I ended up in Playa del Carmen, and I obviously met up with him. And then I ended up just never leaving and falling into this like content house. We were producing viral videos, which are the smartest, stupidest videos you'll ever watch. I don't recommend you watch them, but if you were to watch them, if I was to explain the formula and everything and the recipe for morality behind it, I think you would then respect them. But anyway, so he's a magician, And there was a magic consultant / creative director who was part of the team called Tom Elderfield, who then ended up becoming my boyfriend. And because I just love learning and I love understanding how things are done, I then pestered him until he would teach me some magic tricks. And
that job title's the best in the world, by the way. What did you say? Magical consultant?
Magic consultant.
Amazing. But imagine having a business card with that on.
It's a real thing.
I absolutely love it. And so obviously talk from your boyfriend, but when I wanted to touch on that content house because it is fascinating. How many were in there? And literally, can you just imagine you all sort of churning content out every hour of every day?
Literally. It fluctuated, but it was around, on average, about 10 people at any one time. So there were 2 houses basically next to each other. And so, yeah, about between like 10 and 12. And it was just, at one point we were working 7 days a week, literally just producing minimum 2 videos a day, just like cracking out this viral stuff, like to go on YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, just with the sole intention of trying to get like hundreds of millions of views. Yeah, it was crazy, honestly.
Yeah, it sounds pretty intense. Ali, something that we're pretty intense on is our other podcast, which is Black and White with Arab News, which we enjoy. We do it weekly. I wanted to touch on something that we, just for the rest of the international fans who joined us for Soccer Saturday, something that we spoke about on our show this week, and it's still up there if you want to go and have a look. It's on arabnews.com/podcasts. Everton fans will get the first look of their new manager today, and Dele Alli, who signed from Spurs. They're playing in the Cup this weekend. A lot to be excited for after what we could call a bit of a tumultuous time for Everton fans and in general.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking obviously a lot about Newcastle and all the new signings that they've had, and obviously like Trippier and Chris Wood like arrived early, and then like the other 3. So we've been like focusing a lot on Newcastle, who get to play Everton in midweek, and so I think this is a good game for a good time for Frank Lampard to actually bed in the 2 new signings that they have and get a look at his team before they play Newcastle in midweek. So yeah, I mean, a couple of weeks ago things looked really grim for Newcastle. For Everton. The fans were unhappy with the coach, Rafa Benitez, and now he's gone and all that. And suddenly, like, there's a mood of optimism there, the same as Newcastle, really. So it's a lot. I think the midweek game between the 2 was going to be a lot closer. But yeah, I think the having the cup. This is something we've said about Newcastle, but obviously Alex's Cambridge. Put a spanner in the works. Having the cup competition is quite good.
Cheers, Cambridge.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Cambridge. So having the cup competition actually does help in the league as well, in terms of like getting the players to gel. To gel.
Will it be a free hit for them for Everton, Ali? Do you think Lampard will go for it, or do you think you'll think I just want to get this league business sorted out?
No, they'll go for it. I mean, like okay. Lampard, I think will be ambitious enough, and he'll be like he's been brought into with the idea that Everton should aspire to be bigger than what they've been recently, so they'll go for it.
Okay, good stuff. As I said at the start of the show, it is your last chance before Valentine's to get your special fella something, as it says on the tin. Your balls will thank you. Manscaped.com. Get over there. You'll get 20% discount. And of course, free postage and packing with your code Hollywood Balls. Amazing. See what we can give away on here. They're still piling in for their 45,000 Naira airtime as well. Alex, we've sort of really put you through the mill in this show because we're introducing you to everyone. So it's like question after question. We're going to put you on a desert island. You've got 3 opportunities. You can present your own TV program. You can give us a magic act, or you can lecture us on psychology on this desert island. What's it going to be?
Definitely shan't be lecturing you on psychology, given that I've pretty much forgotten everything that I ever studied. I don't know enough about magic to show you a magic trick.
Okay.
So it would have to be present my own show, of course.
So from a desert island, sounds good. We'd be tuning in. Great stuff. Ali, speaking of tuning in, baller of the week lies with you first and foremost for your footballing hero. On or off the pitch, it could be. Over the last 7 days, is there anyone maybe from the African Nations Cup or domestically that sort of gets your award, gets your vote?
Well, I was going to say Chris Wilder for Middlesbrough's win yesterday is a candidate, but I'm going to give it to Egypt's goalkeeper, Hamad Abu Gabal, who hadn't played for Egypt for about 10 years before this tournament. He'd made his debut ages ago. He's 33 years old, hardly plays for them, but he was back up. He's the number 2, the first choice goalkeeper. El Shenawi was injured, so he came on, played, was a penalty shootout hero, and then he himself got injured and got replaced, but came back for the semi-final and was the penalty shootout hero again. So and now Egypt are in the final, mostly because of his heroics. So he is our hero of the week.
Good man. Now, Kevin Campbell is normally with us. He's on Everton FA Cup duty today. Super Kev sent a message before to say good luck to us all. Kev's birthday yesterday. The man, the legend. He loves a baller of the week. So we wish him well for Everton, his beloved Everton and Arsenal, of course. Alex, it is your debut show, and you will be forgiven if you don't have a baller of the week. It could be the whole Cambridge team for you, but is there anyone that stand out for you?
Well, it's not quite the whole Cambridge team, but still going along with the Cambridge United theme, it has to be the longest-standing groundsman, Ian Dala. Been around for 43 years. He's recently raised money for Shout charity, I believe.
Yep.
And he also, the last time, because Cambridge and Luton are playing this weekend. No?
That's right.
I'm right. The last time they played in 2020, Ian Dala was awarded man of the match. So he's my baller of the week.
Brilliant shout, by the way.
Pete,
stuff. Yeah,
Pete,
go on.
I'm going to throw this back at you. Ask you for your baller of the week, because looking back on your social media over the last few days, you've been hanging out with one of Newcastle's modern day heroes. So you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, my baller of the week is Alan St. Maximin, who I have been hanging out with this last week. Clang, just drop that in there. Because he's a legend on the pitch as well as off the pitch, a real gentleman. He was training, as you know, Ali, he was with the Newcastle United squad in Saudi Arabia for the warm winter training camp. Came over to Dubai to launch his new game, Helios, which is all about Greek mythology. Fantastic. We did the launch party in Dubai. Down at the Cheeky Camel, I believe, in JLT, which was great venue. Alan came over, had all of his friends and family with him. They did the big launch there. A card game for strategy people that it was interesting. It was a very good game to play, but with a big message, because it's aimed to raise awareness and money for students all around the world who basically are starting out to have a chance. So Alan St. Maximin was in town. I was there with him. Geordie Pete's baller of the week, absolute legend. So thank you very much to Alan for making it a great weekend. Okay, another debut for you, Alex, is, and it's probably best that Ali's here because Ali's a bit of a gentleman when it comes to it. It's our predictions, which causes so much pain and grief when Kevin Campbell's on with us because he takes it so seriously. He even has a notepad to write everyone's scores down to make sure that there's no cheating. Kev's not in the house. Now, I want to tell you something just to build it up. Last week, we had rugby legend Victor Abugu sitting where you are now, and he categorically told us, look, I don't want to do this. I literally know nothing. I'm a rugby player. I know nothing about football. And we said, don't worry. It's just all a bit of fun. And as he started, I thought, you know what's going to happen here. So let me just play you a clip from last week before we get into this week's. Listen to this.
Score for Ross County against Rangers. All the best.
I've never heard of Ross County. 1-1.
Staying north of the border, the old enemy, Victor, we've got Celtic at home to Dundee United.
1-0 to Celtic.
1-0 to say, you know what? He's going to win this. You know, I
know. Can you feel it, Pete? I'm telling you.
I just know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Bookmark this spot on the show. Here we are, 38 minutes in. Bookmark it.
Bookmark it indeed, because he won. He won last week's challenge.
Should have put a bet on it.
There you go. And that's what gives you hope, Alex, because anyone can win on our predictions challenge. Sponsored, of course, by Danny Kwang and his DK hot sauce legend that he is. As always, it's guests first and ladies first. So we're going to ask you to predict the score for us. Kidderminster against West Ham.
1-0 to West Ham.
1-0 to West Ham. AK, what have you got for us?
I think 2-0 to West Ham.
Ooh.
Okay, also in the house today, we've got Sam Shepherd. We've got Lee Cosgrove, Man United. We've got Jace Edwards, who's an Everton fan. Scotty Shepherd, Chelsea boy. And, of course, Danny Kwang, who's only in it for the fun. It's his hot sauce, so he doesn't win. And he's a Liverpool fan as well, Ali, just so you know. I've gone for 3-0 to West Ham. Sam's gone 4-0 to West Ham. Lee's taken 3-1 to the Hammers. Jason's taken 2-0 to the Hammers. Scotty's gone 3-0 as well. And Danny's taken 4-0. Okay, back down we go to Alex. Crystal Palace against Hartlepool.
2-1 to Crystal Palace.
2-1 to Crystal Palace. AK?
I'm gonna go the same. 2-1 to Crystal Palace.
Okay, Adrian Bevington, if you're watching, director of Hartlepool United, I'm really sorry, you might want to turn away for this bit. I do support you really as a good friend of mine, but it might be the magic of the cup, but I just can't see it today. I've gone 3-0 Palace. Shame. Sam's gone 2-1 to Palace. So was Lee, 2-0. Jace has taken 2-0. Scotty's taken 2-1 to Hartlepool. As a Chelsea fan, obviously there's a rivalry there with Palace, so we keep our fingers crossed that Scotty's right. And Danny Kwang's taken 3-1 to Crystal Palace as well. Okay, match of the weekend, without question, has to be. It's why it's in here. Cambridge against Luton Town. Alex Gray.
Oh, well, I have to. Wait one second. My mum's. I'm
Amazing. Get your mom. Get the score up, your mom.
She had to come in.
Brilliant.
Cambridge obviously going to win. Let's say. I think it might be another replica of the Newcastle. I think we 1-0 to Cambridge. Let's put it that way.
Okay, good shout. I've got another feeling this could be a guest win. You know, come with Ali. What you got?
Right. So I was checking. I was doing my homework on Luton as well, and they've been playing relatively well. I don't think it's going to be easy, but Cambridge carried, on the momentum of beating Newcastle. I think it'll go to penalties, and Cambridge will win on penalties. Can I give it?
Well, we'll give you that. Yeah. So you're taking a Cambridge win.
Yeah, like I say, 1-1. So if you want my results, it's like 1-1 and a Cambridge win. Cambridge will win on penalties. Just for you, Alex. I'm doing this for you.
Appreciate it, Ali. So
we've got. I've got 2-1 to Cambridge. Just if they play the way they did against Newcastle, which was awesome. The goalkeeper had a worldie, and the centre forward, who of course worshipped Newcastle, so it was in the gods that he was going to score against them. If they play like that, I can see Cambridge winning. I've gone 2-1. Samantha's taken 1-1. Lee Cosgrove's taken Cambridge to win 2-1. Jace Edwards has gone 2-1, but to Luton. Scotty's taken Cambridge for a 2-1, and Danny's taken Luton for 2-1. Okay. Back down, Alex, we go. Liverpool, Cardiff.
Liverpool going to win. I'd say 3-1 to Liverpool.
Good shout, that. AK, your beloved Liverpool.
Yeah, 3-0. I'll go 3-0 Liverpool.
3-0 Liverpool. I've gone 4. Samantha's gone 2-0. Lee, who supports Manchester United, has obviously taken Cardiff to get a result. 1-1 for Lee. Brilliant stuff. Love that. Jace has taken 3-0 to Liverpool. So has Scotty. And Danny Kwang's the same as me. He's taken 4-0. Last up, East Midlands derby. Great game. And I've got to give a big shout out to Kev Byrne, who is a great guy, massive Forest fan. And he wanted me to point out that this was the game of the weekend. Indeed it is. It's going to be a humdinger in East Midlands. It's Notts Forest against Leicester City, Alex.
I think it's going to be 2-2. It's going to be a little draw.
2-2. Okay, good stuff. AK?
I'm going to go for a Forest win. I think this could be one of the upsets of the weekend.
The cup set.
The upset. 2-1 to Forest. And, Pete, from what I hear from Forest fans, you never call Forest Notts Forest. It's always Nottingham
really?
Forest. It's Notts County and Nottingham Forest.
Ah,
Apparently,
okay. Good
apparently,
to know. Good
that's
to
what
know.
I hear. That's what I'm told.
So it's either Forest or Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, and
Or
Notts
Tricky Trees.
and Notts is only for Notts County.
Okay, that's probably because they play in black and white, so I'll stand corrected. Good fact. Good. Glad you're on. Okay, what else have we got? I've gone 3-1 to Leicester. Samantha's taken 2-0 to Leicester. Lee's taken 2-1 to Forest. Jace has gone 3-1 Leicester. Scotty's got 1-0 to Forest. And Danny Kwang has got 2-1 to Forest as well. There we go. That's about it. Fantastic. We got there in the end. What with just a massive amount of technical problems. Massive thanks to everyone, especially you guys, for watching us all. Head over now. I'm just going to pop it up for you so you can see. Head over to the Facebook page, Hollywood Balls Live, which is at Sporting Chat, and get in there and get your airtime. Good luck with that. We'll be doing this competition for the next 3 shows as well, all month, giving away 45,000 naira. All that remains for me is to say, Alex Gray, it's been an absolute pleasure. We hope it's the first of many that you will join us on Hollywood Balls.
I hope so too. No, thank you for having me. It's been great.
Good
I
stuff.
don't want it to stop. I want this to keep going. I'm having a great time.
I think the next time what we could safely do is, because we wouldn't want to put you on the spot too much, he says, having grilled you over the last 40 minutes, is perhaps a magic act of your own to entertain us towards the end of the show. There we go. There's a task for you.
Okay.
AK, what have you got on for the rest of the weekend?
Just watching plenty of football today, and tomorrow night, obviously, the African Nations Cup, and also the Club World Cup here in Dubai. I'm going to head down. I'm going to head down to Abu Dhabi to watch Al Hilal of the Asian champions play their first match. So
playing Al Jazeera, are they?
They're playing Al Jazeera, so I'll head down to Abu Dhabi for that, and hopefully that'll be, a good game. And obviously, and like the main match of this of the weekend is the African Nations Cup, Senegal against Egypt. Couldn't
go without wishing a small baller of the week, as in, and you'll see why I've done it, Ali, to young Josh Hill. Absolutely outstanding. He's played in Abu Dhabi. He's played in Dubai. He's played in Ras Al Khaimah. He's played in Saudi. He's really hitting the ground running. 17 years old. You heard it here first. Josh Hill is going to be the next best thing, the next biggest thing in golf, and we wish him all the very best.
Absolutely.
That's it from me, Geordie Pete Redding. We'll catch you next Saturday, Soccer Saturday on Hollywood Balls. Have a good weekend.